You know, just this past week, the real estate tech world was absolutely buzzing. We saw 3 M&A deals go down that, on the surface, might seem totally unrelated. But if you look a little closer, you start to see they're all threads in the same massive story. The game is changing, folks, and a new playbook for real estate is literally being written right now.
So, with all this consolidation happening, you might be wondering, okay, is the party over? Is the big PropTech boom officially a bust? And that's a totally fair question. But the answer, well, it's not a simple yes or no. What's really going on is actually way more interesting than that.
See, the boom isn't over. It's just growing up. Think of it like this. The whole industry is finally moving out of its chaotic, kind of awkward teenage years and stepping into a much more strategic adult phase. We're getting past that frantic era of just chasing shiny objects and quick growth. Now, the new game is all about building things that are meant to last.
And this slide right here perfectly captures that change. We are moving away from that old world where an agent had to juggle, a dozen different shiny apps and subscriptions just to get a single deal done. It was a mess. The future, the new way, is all about these integrated, scalable platforms where everything just works together.
That brings us to the first pillar of this whole new playbook, the race for data. And look, this isn't just about collecting a bunch of information. This is about building the absolute bedrock foundation that the entire future of real estate tech is going to be built on. So first up, let's look at Constellation Data Labs. They just went out and bought 2 really key companies from RE/MAX. One is called 73, which handles listing aggregation, and the other is the Gadberry Group, which is a big name in geospatial intelligence.
And what in the world is geospatial intelligence? Well, to put it simply, it's all the data that gives a location its real context. We're talking about the crucial details, right? Like school district boundaries, where the flood zones are, and the exact property lines. It's the data that turns a simple dot on a map into a real, understandable place.
So why this move from Constellation? Well, their goal is massive. They're trying to take all this messy, chaotic property data from all over the place and actually standardize it. Why? So they can build a truly scalable infrastructure. The dream here is to enable real automation across the entire industry, from real estate to mortgage to valuations, and create one single, trusted source of truth for everyone.
And you don't have to take my word for it. The company's own leadership is crystal clear about this. The general manager himself calls this a key step in their long-term strategy. They are not just buying companies for the sake of it. They are methodically building what they hope will become the industry's go-to data platform.
Okay, so once you have all that clean, standardized data, the foundation, what's the next logical move? You build something incredibly powerful on top of it. And that leads us straight to the second pillar of this new playbook, the all-in-one dream of creating a single, smart operating system for real estate. This is exactly where our second deal fits in. The merger between Perlin, which is an enterprise platform for brokerages, and Final Offer, a really slick consumer-facing platform for negotiating deals. You see what's happening? 2 very different but totally complementary pieces of the puzzle are now becoming one. And their goal here is just incredibly ambitious. They want to create a single AI platform that handles the entire transaction, from a client's very first search all the way to the final closing. This directly attacks that huge pain point for agents, having to stitch together a dozen different apps just to close a single deal.
And get this, they are hitting the ground running. This new combined company already serves over 35,000 real estate professionals. That is immediate scale. That gives them a massive amount of real-world data to work with from day one.
And this quote from the CEO, this reveals their secret weapon. The real power isn't just saying you have an AI. It's having an AI that's trained on proprietary data from the entire life cycle of a deal. That's the holy grail right there. An AI that sees everything from start to finish, can spot patterns and make predictions that nobody else can even dream of.
Okay, so we've got the data foundation. We've got the smart platform built on top. But technology is only half the equation, right? Where do the people fit into all of this? And that brings us to our third, and maybe the most human-centric pillar of the new playbook, placing a huge bet on agent teams.
And here's our third deal, LPT Aperture Holdings snapping up 2 companies, Humanize and Reside. And just look at what they do. Humanize is all about AI-powered recruiting, and Reside is focused on coaching and training. See the theme? It is all about empowering the people, the teams.
So LPT's strategy is to build a complete ecosystem specifically for real estate teams. They're creating the tools for everything: recruiting, managing, coaching, community support, basically positioning themselves to power team-led growth across the entire industry. It's also a really savvy move to diversify their business, especially if they're gearing up for an IPO.
And you really cannot get a bolder statement than this quote from the CEO, Robert Palmer. He isn't just suggesting there's a trend. He is making a prediction, a huge one. He believes teams will straight up replace real estate franchises in the next decade, and he is putting his company's money right where his mouth is.
So let's connect all these dots. These are not three separate stories. They are three chapters of the exact same emerging playbook. And it's a strategy built on three core inseparable elements: data, platforms, and people.
These are the new building blocks of the future, right here. It all starts with that solid data foundation. Then, on top of that, you build an integrated, all-in-one platform. And finally, you power the whole thing with a human-centric system that's designed to support the people who actually drive the business, the agent teams.
So if you remember just one thing from all of this, let it be this. There is a profound strategic shift happening right now. The industry's focus is no longer on creating the next cool, shiny app. It's about building the fundamental, long-haul, integrated infrastructure that is going to define the next decade of real estate.
Which, of course, leaves us with one final and really critical question. As these massive all-in-one platforms start to dominate the landscape, what does that actually mean for the agent on the ground? Will these incredibly powerful new systems be a superpower that makes them more efficient and successful than ever before? Or will agents find they've just traded a dozen small tools for one very big new boss?